Oh, welcome to a very special shortwave show today. I know usually it's Monday, I'd be on late at night, but not tonight. Tonight, I have a very special show, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And I'm doing something that I haven't really done before. I mean, I have, but many years ago, literally years ago, since I've done a music review. I recently did a movie review about 2 months ago. Now I've decided to do a music review, which again, rare for me, but this time special. The young man who I'm going to be talking about, an artist named, if I get it right, the Real Young Swagg. I think I've gotten that correct. He actually came to a libertarian event in Maine. We were trying to get a ballot access push, and he met the chair of the Maine LP party. He met two of our presidential candidates, both Chase Oliver and Lars Mapstead. And then his music was brought to my attention because of that. So I then checked out his music and I thought, I am interested in this because I felt there was a realism, a trend, and a symbolism in the music that I was drawn to. That's what I thought. And I want to show you that tonight. And I have gotten permission from the Real Young Swagg to show this, so please don't think I would snag his stuff without his knowledge. He is aware. And I'm going to show it in some chunks. So if you want to actually just watch the video and listen to the music, I have put all of those links in the description. So if you want to check any descriptions, you can. He has lots of music to choose from. And of course, you can just follow him if you want to on Instagram at literally The Real Young Swagg on Instagram. And you can see all of his work and what he's doing. So let me take a couple of seconds now, if I could, to show you the video and why I thought there was what I thought was something special to it. You tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off here. Maybe I am off. Let me drop this so that we can see.
Say I've been through some hard days and heartbreaks. I feel like I always do the wrong thing. Yeah, I'm just trying to live my life to the fullest.
Now, I want to stop it now. I know you're saying, Larry, it's only a couple seconds, but there's some critical pieces here. If you look at the trend of popular music, particularly from men a few years ago, any type of song like this would not have been like this. It would have been, let me show you how I'm at the club, making it rain with all the women. I'm on the boat. I'm on the beach. I'm on the yacht. I'm driving my fancy car. That's what it was if you go back years ago. That trend has gone away. The trend now is more towards this of, I am some guy struggling. I'm not the cool, super awesome dude that everyone thinks I'm supposed to be, even though I'm supposed to be that guy. I'm not. And if you noticed the opening scene, he's alone. A loneliness piece is a critical piece to many men in this country now. And I think he captures it perfectly. And you can feel that there's a part of him, and many men, particularly young men, feel this, a loneliness. It doesn't mean that he's necessarily alone, though. You might think, well, it's because he's single. Maybe, but if you notice, when he goes to the kitchen, there is a toaster that has 4 slices of bread. Maybe he has more people there. But then why would he be alone in that bed? Because maybe he doesn't awake his family as he gets up early in the morning to go do a hard job. Many men who are working hard, who've had problems in their life, they're the kind of man who doesn't shower in the morning, they shower when they come home. Right? They shower when they come home because they have a hard day of work, a grind that they have, that they're pushing through. And through it, you hear what he says. I've been through hard things. I try to live my life. But I think somehow I keep falling back to the bullshit, the BS. It's a feeling of helplessness that a lot of people deal with on a daily basis. You push through with the grind, but it's not easy. And it's a common thing that now people are dealing with, and it's now happening more in popular music. And I think he hits it perfectly in this. He is alone, even if he isn't alone. So even if he does have people in that home, whether it's a family or a wife or children or an elderly parent or a younger brother or sister, whoever may be in that home with him, he is alone. And that piece is critical for us to understand. Is a thing that's happening across our country.
But I always seem to slip right back in some bullshit. So tell me how could I be the one?
Now, again, he says something that sounds not so important. He's I keep falling back into some bullshit. So tell me I'm good. Why would that matter? Because again, I'm going to stress on young men. This happens in older men too, of course. In the case of a younger man, so often you just want an older man who you respect to tell you, well done. Well done. That's what I want from you. Well done, because that will push you past the bullshit. That will push you past the grind. That will push you past the loneliness. That's what that will do. And most people can't see that. They think, well, who cares? He's just some dude. Who cares? Well, again, we don't know who else is in this household. There may be people who are relying on him, right? He's going off to work. He's bringing home a paycheck. There may be people who are relying on him, not just himself, but others, to make sure he can bring home that paycheck so they can eat and or go to school or whatever the case may be. But still, he's alone.
When I need someone, I can't seem to fix what I've broken.
Now, I can't seem to fix what I've broken. There becomes the most critical piece and the actual strength of this piece, which is what he's actually saying is a common male trait, a common male trope, I would even say. The idea of some form of redemption. And so many men are striving for it, trying for it, understanding that they've broken something, they've made an error, they made bad decisions, yet they got to fix it. And they find that by themselves, they can't. The system is against them, the world is against them, their friends are against them. What does it mean? If you've been in this world before, if you've been in a world to where you've made mistakes, you've been around the wrong people, that's your support structure. If you even have one, that's it. So how do you keep falling into some bullshit? Well, because your friends are still bad. Your support structure is still bad or non-existent. So when something goes wrong, nothing for you. Or you still want to help because you feel like you want to help your friend who is not where you are. The key here is accountability. And while it seems silly, why would accountability be good? Because when you have accountability, you can begin to make change. When you have accountability, you can begin to start to make those steps and others will see. And here's the hardest part. Your broken support structure, when they see you to accountability, they will hate that because that's a mirror for them. And they don't like what they see in that mirror. Because you're doing the right thing, taking accountability, and now they look bad. So you better not either, or else now I have to. So I got two choices now. Take you down or leave you. If we're lucky, they'll leave. Often, they don't.
So I'll dream of one day I'll see the sun and try not to seem like I'm hopeless.
Now, that important piece. Try not to seem like I'm hopeless. He didn't say not to be hopeless. He said, try not to seem hopeless. Everything at this point, as he's talking about how hard things are, he's just going through the grind. But he keeps thinking he's going to fall back into some BS because he has failed often before. He's watched his friends and family fail before. So this idea of going through the grind, putting on the uniform, heading back out, he's afraid it's a facade. It's not real. That the other shoe is going to drop. So actually, it's a facade that I'm not hopeless. Maybe I am hopeless. Maybe I actually am hopeless. Maybe I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop because I know I can't make it. There's no chance. But I've got to pretend. And that is one of the biggest fears that we have, that we're just faking it. It doesn't matter. I'll never succeed. This falls into one of the hardest things that every human being has to feel. And we see this in work, in family, in politics, in friendships. Why bother? Just why bother? Why get up and go to work again? Why go through the grind? Just why bother? Why try? I'm done anyway, right? So why even bother trying? It's a common problem that I think so many of us suffer through, right? So many of us suffer through this. Why bother? And he's trying to say, yeah, I'm scared too. I'm afraid that I may be full of shit myself. Maybe I am. But here's the thing. He's asking someone to say that he's good because what he wants to be is accountable not just to himself, but to others. Because if he's accountable to others, he's got to keep going.
There was a part where I really started realizing that was the problem. And I couldn't solve it even with pills inside of a bottomless bottle.
He says there was a part to where I started to realize that I was the problem. A lack of accountability is a huge problem we have in most people on this planet, heavily in our youngsters, because we are trained to be victims. It's always someone else's fault. If something goes wrong, it is someone else's fault. Sadly, particularly young men, and I'm going to focus on young men, particularly young men, you don't get to be a victim. No one gives a shit about you. And that sounds horrible. I do. But most people don't. You're privileged. We don't care about you. We should. You don't get to be that. You have to step up. You don't have a choice. You must. And if you don't, no one will respect you. But what you require is someone to say, I got you. Yes, you'll be okay. Get up. I've always said, and when I've had these issues sometimes with young couples, and those what I do, I sometimes deal with couples here or there. And when it comes to the, traditional male-female, men will fall down. We are human beings. We will fall down, sometimes really hard. There's a difference when you want that man to get back up in saying, I can't believe you fell down. You're a bad guy. What a loser. Versus saying, I need you. Get back up. You're my man. Get back up. I need you. That will make your man get back up. And when you're an older male, you don't call him a name. You say, what the hell's wrong with you? You're a man, right? Here's a hand. Get back up. Let's go. We got stuff to do. We have something to achieve. What are you doing? You can't be on the floor. Sadly, that's missing for so many people. That is missing. But the critical thing this young man did was say, I was a problem. And when it first hit him, like when it first hits most of us, we're in denial. We don't want to hear that. It's not my fault. How can it be me? I am not accountable for this. It is not my fault. So I must do something else. I must self-medicate. I do that with a drug, or I do that with alcohol, or I do that with pills, or whatever. I find a drug to self-medicate. Maybe what my friends are doing, what I've done in the past, whatever it is what I do. And the problem is, that's a temporary solution. It feels good when you first do it, right? If it didn't feel good, we wouldn't do it. It does. And temporarily, the pain does go away. That's true. And then it comes back. Twice as hard. 3 times as hard. Devastatingly hard. And if you don't have somebody around you to go, come on, man, get back up. If you don't have someone to do that, it can sink you. It can sink you not for a day, but for months and or years. it can sink you. It can destroy you. But at one point, you must take accountability. And the funny thing about accountability, as silly as it may sound, as hard as it is to deal with that, once you achieve accountability, you begin to have hope. You start to have hope because now there's a future.
With no one to blame, I was ashamed. That was a tough one to swallow.
Tough one to swallow. He had, yes, exactly what I was saying.
Wanted to change up in my brain, yeah, but my feet wouldn't follow.
He says, I wanted to change in my brain, but my feet wouldn't follow. Yes. How many times have you said, I'm going to do this thing and didn't do it? Okay, maybe you want to become a brain surgeon, go to college right away. All right, fine. But what about when it's paying your bills? What about when it's keeping the promises to your friends and or family? Or what about when it's keeping a promise to yourself? What about when you're trying to keep a promise to yourself? And here comes the hard part. You want to change because you see the damage that you're doing, right? He expresses that what he's broken, he can't fix. So he's done damage, as we all have, to be forward, as we all have. He's done damage and he can't fix it. And as he fails, as his brain says, do the right thing, young man, he can't do it. And then when he can't do it, now he feels worse. This now reinforces the pain, reinforces the why bother, which is why it's so magical that someone can actually come from this. Why it's so positive when someone does push this, because sadly, as you see around our country, so many people are not. They're not. And why does this affect me? Why am I even speaking with this? For those of you who know, my mom was an addict. My mom fell to the bottom where I pulled her out of prison. And she required a support structure. And I never forget, one day my mom and I are at the kitchen table after I'd pulled her out and she'd gotten her life back together. She'd remarried. And we are sitting at a kitchen table and she says, Larry, I'm really sorry. And I said, for what? She says, I failed you, all the bad things I did. And she was explaining all the things that she had done. And she did a lot of bad things. It's true. My mom and I had a very rough time. When my mom was an addict, I was still a kid. I was 19, 18 years old. I couldn't understand. I didn't understand that when you're an addict, and my mom was, that you pick the substance over your family. That I couldn't understand that. And I blamed my mom terribly for that. I did. I was hurt. I'm an only child. My father had died when I was 12. She was the only family I had. And when she left me, I was devastated too. Obviously, her worse than me. But I was too young and too naive to understand that. I just took it as myself, all about me. As I got older, I began to understand what was going on. And I came back to help her at the end. I did. I came back. I was probably 22, 21. I came back into her life and I was the one who pulled her out of prison. I'm the one who set her up and gave her the support she needed. But I remember her saying that. And I said, Mom, we're good. If you need someone to forgive you, I forgive you. I already have. The demons that you have are your demons, nobody else's. Once you slay them, they're slain. It's it. I'm done. You and I are good. We're fine. And she cried. She needed someone to forgive her. I didn't see that, but then when she asked, I did. And sometimes we need to be forgiven. And I think when we create so much pain, we want to try to make things right. This is a piece he's talking about.
So I'm on this road and I'm walking slow because I just don't know where I'm going.
Now, here is one of the hardest pieces. You can see again, he's using this because he recognizes that this is not going to be easy. He says, I'm walking slow. And boy, is this hard. It's hard because you want to see things move fast. The people around you want to. What if he has a wife or a girlfriend or a child? They want him to change tomorrow. Why don't you have this great job? Why aren't you doing this? Where's my money? They're saying all that. And he's like, I'm just trying to survive day by day. I'm walking down this hard road. I'm trying to just stay clean for a day. And you're sitting there yelling at me about, I didn't bring enough money home today. Happens all the time. Reinforces the why bother. Reinforces the why bother. And his normal support structure of his boys and his buddies, they're doing the same stupid shit he was doing. He can't go back to them. He goes back to them. Well, now he's in trouble. Now he's back in the BS. He's back in the BS for them. Now, I was lucky with my mother. When I pulled her out, I didn't want her hanging around those people anymore. Good or bad, most of them had gone to jail also. So most of them were in jail. So I guess that was one good thing, I guess. So in that regard, it was, and I pulled her physically in a different town. I moved her away physically so she could not go back to that world. Not everybody has that. My mom was lucky in that regard. But again, he's using something symbolic to show I got to push. This is the grind. And in the case of this grind, every day he's pushing through. Every day he's pushing through. It's not easy. People don't respect it, and they should.
It's dark and cold and I'm all alone, but I feel your hand on my shoulder.
I got to bring this piece up too. He's saying, I'm on that road and I'm all alone. And he is. It's a grind. He's all alone. But he feels the hand on his shoulder. Now, we haven't seen anyone else in the video, but of course we know for someone to be successful, they must have some kind of support. He brings up the person or persons, people, either one, because he says, just tell me I'm good. Now, he says, I feel the hand on the shoulder. Yes. And here's what I would ask you if you're watching this or listening right now to this. If you know someone is struggling, friend, family member, text them or call them or email them or whatever is the way you communicate with them. Do it today. Doesn't matter what you say. Does not matter what you say. Doesn't matter if you say, hey, what's up? Tell them a joke. Does not matter. Do something. Do something. Why? You might be that hand on their shoulder. You might be that. For those of you who know, more than once, I have been the hand on a shoulder for people who reached out to me for some reason or whatever the case may be. And that matters. You don't know if you're the hand that stops the person from doing something they will regret for the rest of their life or even end it. We know this is a problem in America today. We know it. We know it. Just because someone looks like they are filled with hope and glory, and it does not mean they are. It could be a facade, as he mentions in his song. He wants to look that way. Why? Nobody wants to seem like they need help. Particularly men. We don't want to act like we need help. Of course not. But we do. All of us. I'm not sitting here on my high horse saying, I need help too. I fall down too. Yeah, we all do. The question is, do we have somebody to put that hand on our shoulder or not? And I know you might say to yourself, but Larry, do I want to step in when maybe I should? Maybe they're looking for, maybe they don't want me. Maybe they want a relationship with somebody else. Maybe they want a relationship with their higher power. Oh, maybe. I'm not here to judge any of that, right? I'm not here to judge what they want, but so what? Be an extra hand. Be an extra. There's no such thing as too many hands. It's fine. Put 2, 3, 4 of them on there. All good. No worries. You can be that extra hand. It's absolutely okay.
And it seems enough to keep me from crumbling, so I can try to move forward.
And that's that key point. Sometimes that one hand is enough. And for people who are more spiritual, that may be church, maybe the Bible, maybe Jesus. No worry, all good. And it may not be that, or that may not be enough for this person. For some people, that's enough. For some people, it's not. And be very clear. It is not for you or I or anyone else to judge that. Each person needs what they need to move forward. That's the piece that matters. That's the piece that matters.
Yeah, I'll give my all, rise or fall, cause I've seen it all. Say I've been through some hard days and heartbreaks. I feel like I always do the wrong thing. Yeah, I'm just trying to live my.
Now, several pieces here. Number one, this reminds me again of the grind. Now, the grind isn't only male, right? More the physical grind is often male, but not always. My mother had a grind too. When my mom got out of prison, those of you who have people or yourself who've had criminal records, it's difficult to get hired. It's not easy to get hired, right? It's hard. The system doesn't make it easy for you at all. Does not. So my mom, her grind was being a waitress in diners. They would hire her. And she would get up every day and go off. And it's a different grind than construction, different, but still hard. If you've ever done that work, if any of you have been servers in a diner or a place like that, that's not easy work, right? That's not easy work. And she would do that work and have the I guess, two sides whenever somebody wouldn't call in. The idea would call in and be sick. Decide that, damn, I got to work more. And I guess I can make some extra cash. Both. I don't get to go home when I want to go home, but I can make some more cash. That's the grind, right? The grind. How do you do that? Two of them. The first one is that hand on the shoulder. That helps a lot. That hand on the shoulder helps to push you through. It absolutely does. It does help. But there's more. You have to have something to look forward to, right? What's going to happen in the future? You got to have that light at the end of the tunnel. That and the hand, and you can push to the grind, because the grind is the answer, right? The answer to get yourself out of this is 1, accountability, 2, the grind, and 3, with support and something to look forward to. Now you can at least have a chance at making this thing happen.
To the fullest, but I always seem to.
By the way, Lars Mapstead's shirt. He is libertarian, so thank you. He met both Lars and he met Chase Oliver, both in Maine. Lars shirt. There we go. Libertarian. Had to do a plug, guys. Sorry. I am still a libertarian. I still am. I gotta do a plug.
Right back in some bullshit. So tell me, how could I be the one when I need someone? I can't seem to fix what I broken. So I'll dream.
He keeps pushing on. And that is the piece. Every day you grind. And the difference is, if you go back 10 or 15 years, what you would see is the grind is some guy being cool, doing cool stuff. That isn't the grind that men are dealing with right now. The grind that men are dealing with is the day-to-day grind that we're dealing with. Taking care of our kids, taking care of our families, taking care of ourselves, and being alone a lot. We are alone a lot. And if you're a man, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We are alone a lot. And we have to push through and deal with issues by ourselves often, because no one's coming to save us. Only we are. Only we are. It's important that we understand that.
One day I'll see the sun and try not to seem like I'm hopeless. Yeah, I know that you've been going through it, but I only know because I've been there before. So
now the song shifts now here, right? The song shifts into understanding the stress and the pain and the desire to quit, which is normal. Whenever you're pushing through something, there is a normal desire to just say, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. How long am I going to do this? When is the payoff? I'm out. I'm going back. I'm done. That's the norm. That's the norm. But if you watch how the song moves, he's now saying, yes, you're right. It's tough. Yes. And I feel like everything's broken and I can't fix it. Yes. However, with a little bit of help, just one hand on the shoulder, you can push through the grind. And if you push through the grind, if you do, it will get better. And he's saying, I've seen it. I'm not just sitting here in my ivory tower looking down on you saying, do better, peasant. I'm saying, no, I've been in the dirt. with you. I've eaten the same dirt you've eaten. I know what that tastes like, and you can get out of it. You can. You can. I know how it feels, and you can get out of it. It starts with I am hopeless, and it hurts, and it moves towards no. Don't quit on me. You're grinding. Keep going.
Just hold it together, times will get better. Trust me, I know, 'cause I've been through some hard days and heartbreak.
Now, as it moves on to what I was talking about, the idea of having some hope, the idea of saying, I can do stuff that matters, getting some joy out of either work or fun or art or whatever is your thing, right? We're all different people, but whatever gives you some hope, some fun, some value, you can jump on it, whether it's a skateboard or whatever it might, whatever is your thing, you can still do that. It'll start to bring you through it, right? That grind and that hope changes so much. And I gotta say, people don't know this. It is a grind, but there's a number that we know. Science has shown us something. That magic number for someone who's been incarcerated, as an example, is 5 years. It's true. You care about it, do your own homework, you can check it out. If you leave incarceration and you're able to find a job and stay employed for 5 years, the odds of you breaking the law again are less than someone who's never broken the law. It's magic. 5 years of employment and you are a better citizen than when you went in. 5 years and you are a better citizen than the average American. 5 years of work. 5 years. To get your life in order, it takes 5 years. That's what it does. And that sounds, 5 years, I can do that. That's not easy because it's 5 years of what this young man's talking about. The grind, falling back into bullshit, collapsing, wanting to quit, and maybe not having that hand on your shoulder when you need it. Maybe. But the glory and the cool part about this is he's saying that if you have some kind of support and you push through the grind, no matter how bad it is, when you want to quit, there is hope. You can move through. It's possible. And even though you feel like you always screw up and do the wrong thing, it may not be true. And more importantly, you don't have to.
I feel like I always do the wrong thing. Yeah, I'm just trying to live my life to the fullest, but I always seem to slip right back in some bullshit. So tell me how could I be the one when I need someone? I can't seem to fix what I broke in. So
the key is he keeps going back to it. Even after that, he keeps going back and saying, I still feel it. And the glory of this part is, if you get it, he's not trying to magically erase it. When you try to magically erase your past, when you try that, that's a facade. That's a lie. You're hurting yourself. I'm not saying you should be proud of the bad things that we've all done. Again, I'm not sitting in some ivory tower. I have made mistakes like anybody else. My family's full of it. I'm full of it. It's the way it is. But you've never, anyone who's listened to me over these past 6-7 years I've been doing this, never have I hidden an error that I've made, a mistake that I've done. Never. I own them, as we all should. I don't hide them. It's impossible to blackmail me because all my stuff's out there. I use it as a lesson. My scars are my medals of life. That's what they are. I don't mind showing them. I don't mind at all. And what I like about this is he's not saying, now all of a sudden I'm feeling better. I'm out skateboarding, feeling good. Now I'm perfect. Now all of a sudden life is awesome and everything's great. No, he's still going to struggle. He's still human. It's just better. And he's got a hold of stuff. And now he's got something he can do and he's having fun and life is way better. It's never perfect. And he's probably going to screw up again because we all screw up again. So it works. But the most important part is if you look at this from someone else looking at this young man, they will see him not as someone who's made errors, but they will see him as someone who has recovered, which is stronger. It is more impressive what's more impressive? That you fell down and got back up? Or you were always up because your family hooked you up and you were always up? That's not impressive. But you fell down and you didn't stay down. You got back up. Or maybe you fell down, got up, fell down again, still got up. That is an example to the people around you, in your community, to your family and friends. Absolutely.
I'll dream of one day I'll see the sun and try not to seem like I'm hopeless. Yeah.
And the end?
I'm not hopeless
anymore. I'm not hopeless anymore.
Yeah, I got hope.
I got hope.
Yeah, I got hope.
That is the piece that I wanted to show you. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I know I didn't show it all together. It was on purpose because I don't want you to just listen to it here. I want you to go to the links that I gave you. I want you to go to Instagram and I want you to listen to it so that the young man himself can gain the benefits of it. That's why I did not show the entire thing and it's together. Please go watch it. Please go listen to it. Please enjoy it. It does matter. I want to, if I could, ask you some favors that are good from you now. Guys, if you liked it, I'm still going to grab your comments in a second. But if you like the video, if you like what I'm saying, click the like button. It does matter. Click the like button. Please do that. If you're watching this on Twitter, retweet it so that other people can see it and enjoy it also. Right? Please do that. It does matter. And of course, give the Real Young Swagg a little bit of love. Head on over to Instagram and follow him there. You can check out his other stuff on YouTube also. The same. Everything is there if you're interested. Please do that if you can. If you want to support the show, you absolutely can. Patreon.com/Sharpway supports the show. Or you can super chat me on YouTube if you want to, if you happen to be watching on Larry Sharpe YouTube. So many comments. I do want to grab some of them. But one more piece, if I could. He will be on this show on Saturday. I'll be interviewing the man himself on Saturday at 7 p.m. This coming Saturday. So if you want to be on the lookout for that, that would be amazing. Let me grab some comments if I could. All righty. And maybe he'll tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right on all these things. Who knows? Maybe I've completely screwed it up and he'll be mad at me. It's possible. Well, I guess we'll find out. So yes. Kira, how are you? Here to tune in. Thank you. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yes. Joe says, I got Facebook warning for a sarcastic comment on your stream earlier. So I'm going to not be funny now. Who says you're ever funny, Joe? Ooh, kidding. I'm teasing you, of course. Absolutely. Oh, and the Real Young Swagg is here. Just happy to be here. Thank you. I'm glad you are watching. I do appreciate that, of course. So, all right. Let me see if I can get down here. Yes, he agrees. Heck yes, that 9-to-5 life of monotonous grind day in and day out. Yes, and to your point, there are a lot of people who are doing double, triple shifts. Maybe working a night shift, right? Absolutely. It is a grind for sure. Andrew says, with accountability, you start to make good choices. Yes, right? And this is a hard part. If you, taking accountability sucks, Andrew. It does. Because I have to accept that part of this is my fault. And to be forward, not everything is your fault. Sometimes you are unlucky. Sometimes bad things happen. It's not your fault. It's not always your fault, right? But even when it's not your fault, you have to take accountability on how you react. Because sometimes you just got screwed. It does happen, right? But either way, you have to be able to say, all right, let me figure out how I make the next steps. And when you start doing that, I agree, you'll start making better choices, right? We'll still make mistakes, but yes. D Lady Die, how are you? Bravo, Senor Sharpe. Thank you. I appreciate that. Looks like Swagg, you have some fans. Swagg is the best man. Thank you. M16 Official Music. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you are watching. So yes, absolutely. All right, so if I can grab a couple more of these. Missy, of course, always like the video, share. Thank you, Missy. I appreciate that. Missy's a friend of mine. I adore her. She's amazing. So yes, thank you so much, Missy. You are the best. So, oh, and she says, thank you for being here. Appreciate that also. Sam says, long, hard road for real. Lots of my friends never came out and left us behind. Glad you're here with us, Swagg. Oh, that's very sweet. Yes, look, the reality of it is substances can take us. They work, right? I mean, they work. It's short term and it does damage. But the worst part is it damages those around you, right? There is one thing that you can see. When you fall down, you can see who your real friends are, right? Who's there? Who's still going, come on, get back up? Who's like, I don't know you. The people saying, I don't know you, in a way, it's glad, right? In a way, you should be glad. I mean, it's a terrible way of finding it out, but in a way, it's a good thing. Robert says, men have always been considered disposable. True. Rob, you're right. I agree. Nowadays, it's as if a competition in society to see how much we can beat down men. And the point you're bringing, so many people that I show this to, so many people that you see more of the modern music of men talking about this, they identify. Like they go, yeah, like they identify with it. I completely agree. It is a trend, and I think our society is hurting it. And look, men have to bounce back. Sadly, Rob, no one's going to protect us. No one's going to. And it sucks. And I hate to say that. Like, I don't want that to be true. But me not wanting it to be true doesn't all of a sudden make it false, right? It doesn't. It is what it is, regardless of what I feel. He continues, the nuclear family was a model for a strong support system, and the government has now incentivized the removal of the fathers. Also true, people still make fun of the situation fathers go through when it comes to custody battles. Rob, this has made me so angry that people do. The immediate attack is if something's wrong, you're a deadbeat, you're a loser, immediately. They don't know the background. They don't know what's happening. They don't know how hard you've been hammered. They don't know your story. There's immediate attack, not a what happened. It's true. Now, I'm not trying to be sexist here at all, but I'm just being forward. If a woman has that problem, they say, what happened? They at least say what's happened. They may insult her too. I mean, women get insulted and hammered also. But they always get the benefit of the what happened. Men don't. Men immediately get hammered. Women get a what happened, then maybe hammered. But yes, I agree. Many good men are ruined for life when they are minimized to a paycheck and visitor in their children's lives. Yeah, I always say that the court system, particularly in New York, but across the country, it supports you being a deadbeat dad. And if you're not a deadbeat dad, it tries to make you one. It goes out of its way to make you a deadbeat dad. I think that's absolutely true. 100%. Thank you for that, Robert. I appreciate that. So, Michael says, my brother right here is a great artist. It is good. It's a great song. I'm happy I was, yes, I believe it. Yes. Mrs. says, Larry was my hand on my shoulder in the depths of my anorexia. He's a huge reason I'm in recovery and have been for over a year. Thank you, Missy. You know that I adore you. You know that I love you. And of course, I go out of my way to help people that I love to the best of my ability. Thank you so much, Missy. I appreciate that. And I'm glad you're with us still. I am, very much so. Yes. Kira says, my mom, who passed wherever she is the hand on my shoulder. Oh, that was my instant thought when I heard that line. Touched me big time. Yes, right? The thought process that people have of somebody, Kira, obviously she was the hand on your shoulder because you cared about what she thought, you cared about her feelings, and clearly she cared about yours, right? That connection, death couldn't break that connection, right? And that connection is critical. And you have it now. Good for you. A lot of people don't have that. I would consider yourself fortunate that you have that connection with your mother. It's an amazing thing to have, and it will do well for you. It will. So, he says, for me, it's a whole lot of God and self-discipline now. Yes, and I would say that they overlap, right? They overlap because the more discipline you have, the more you trust in God, right? When you are undisciplined, you don't trust the plan. You don't trust it, right? So you begin to doubt God. So I think self-discipline assists in that, and then God assists. It's a circle. This is not a one or the other thing. This is a circle, right? You have to trust for it to even work, of course. Absolutely. So not one person on this rock has been to judge anyone. You're not going to hear me fight that. You're not gonna get me fight that. Yes. Robert says you're getting deep. Sometimes I do. I have a habit of doing that sometimes. I do. Absolutely. So he says, shout out to all libertarians. Yes, many people who watch this show, for those who don't know, about half of the audience is self-identified libertarian, give or take about half. About 30% is somehow either conservative, Republican, right-leaning. About 15% is a Democratic or progressive leaning, give or take. And 5% is like people who know me and just like me for some reason, met me someplace. So that's it. Yes, absolutely. So Sam says, sucks to also be the strong one who needs help, because where do you turn? When you do, are you helped? Right? And this is the point, right? People don't want to seem like they're hopeless, because then, oh, is he really strong? Right? And particularly for men, again, I know I'm being male-centered here, but that's okay. It's true. Right? The idea is, well, Sam, you're a man, so you got to be magic and you got to stand strong no matter what. Well, Sam, you're just a person, and bad things are going to happen to you, and you're going to be unhappy. You're going to need some help. I agree. Right? It's hard. This is why, and I say this for my veterans, those of you who know I'm a Marine and I'm a veteran, and when you want to be able to call other Marines, which you hear me say all the time. You've heard me say this 1,000 times in the show, right? You got a problem, you reach out to me. You're a Marine, you reach out to me. I mean, anybody will, but Marines often require other Marines to understand them, right? And it's a compliment for anybody. That's Marines, right? Whatever you are, you want someone like you to understand you, right? So I'm saying Marines because I'm a Marine, but that goes for any group of people, right? You understand me because you're the same thing I am. A father who's been hammered in court, a single mom who's been abandoned, right? You want another single mom who's abandoned, who knows, I get you, right? I see what you've been through, right? Now, again, I'm happy to talk to some single mom, but you might want another single mom, right? You might want that person. I think that's the key, Sam. You want to try to find someone who is in your world, who is, right, to EM16, to his point, who's not going to judge you because they've been in your shoes, right? They're not going to judge you. They've been in your shoes. They're like, yeah, I got it, Sam. I was right there, man. I get it. I'm going to bring you through this. That's what this song is talking about. I get your pain. I do. I get it because I've been there. I'm going to move through. So that's the point. You have to find the people who you identify with, you can connect with, and have that conversation and say, man, I'm in trouble right now. Okay, let's have a conversation. I remember probably the worst one I've ever dealt with, and I still think about it. A veteran friend, a Marine buddy of mine, he was in a hotel, and I called him. No one else was answering, so I called him. He knew my number, so I texted him. Sorry, I texted him. I didn't know his number. I texted him. He's like, oh, is it really Larry Sharp? He picks up the phone. And I asked him what he was doing. He said, I'm in a hotel. So, okay, what's going on? Talk. I find out he's got his gun in his hand. And I said, okay, gun's in your hand now? He said, yeah. I said, is there a chair there? He said, there is. Yeah, it's a hotel room. I said, great. Do me a favor. Put the gun on the bed. He goes, what? Just put the gun on the bed. And I want you to sit in the chair. He said, okay. Put the gun on the bed, sat in the chair. And we talked. That was the hardest one. I'd never had to deal with someone who literally had the gun in the hand before. That was the toughest one for me. But that's your point, Sam. He didn't want to talk to anybody else. He didn't want to have that conversation, right? I didn't tell him life is awesome and everything's great. The song doesn't say that either. The song doesn't say everything's it's all of a sudden great. And now it's butterflies and rainbows. And everybody gets a puppy. It doesn't say that. It says, yeah, it's going to be better. Yeah, that's what I'll promise, better, but not perfect. I think you're right, Sam. It's hard. When you're the guy who's supposed to be a tough guy, and now you're not so tough. That's hard. Helen says, great song. I agree. Yes. Missy says, the grind can feel like you're wearing heavy, heavy weights on your feet. Yes, and you can't get rid of them, Missy, particularly if you have family and work and then your own personal stuff. You can never take the weights off. They're always on you. No matter what you do, the weights are on. Yes, absolutely yes. 100%. Yes. Kira says, love the shift. Feels good to feel understood. Oh, that's great. I love that. That's awesome. D Lady Die says, find your juice. Agreed. Yes. 100%. Yes. Miss says 5 years is long as time when you're depressed and alone. Missy, which is why so many people can't handle it. Because you don't want to feel alone, right? You don't, but you're right. Yes, it's hard. That's the point. It's why most people fail. And I hate it because we don't support each other. And to Rob's point, when you have a broken family, well, then where's your brother or sister or cousin or aunt or grandma or grandpa or whoever is that point that Sam talked about that can connect to you? Because just because you have a sister doesn't mean your sister can relate to you. Some sisters can and some can't. What if yours can't? Right? What if it would have been your aunt or would have been your grandma or would have been your niece who could relate to you better? Well, if you don't have an extended family together, how can they? There's no family. It's broken up. Yes. Jean says, when I was a self-employed single stay-at-home mom, wow, I felt so alone. Yes. My ex-husband left me for a younger woman. Oh, Gina, sounds horrible. I was devastated financially and emotionally, but not spiritually. Okay, that was your hand on your shoulder. I was active in my church in the 12-step program. That and dancing were the only places I felt like I had any support. You know, this is why I like in the video he's skateboarding. Because no matter what, you've got to break that grind with something that you can enjoy. In his case, it's skateboarding. In your case, it's dancing, right? But it's something, right? You've got to find them. As D-Lady Di says, you got to find your juice. Yours was dancing, right? And that made you feel connected and give you purpose. I'm sure at that time, Gene, say it was whatever, Friday nights. You were looking forward to Friday nights. You had something to look forward to get you past that grind. You were the church, the hand on your shoulder, and you had dancing, something to look forward to. And that is actually the formula. Taking accountability. And in your case, your husband left you. Okay, that sucks. But you got to take responsibility for the actions now. Right? All right. Here's where I am now. I didn't leave him. He left me. I didn't do that. But here's where I am now. I got a kid. I got to figure this out. You took accountability. Then you had support. You did the grind with something to look forward to. That's how it works. Thank you. I love that. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Yes. Kira says, I love the way you broke down the song in the chat about it. I think that that's what good art's about, right? Good art. Here's my view on art. Just because something draws something out of you, makes you angry or happy or whatever, that's not art. That's just shock. Good art has to stay with you in some way. It's got to land and stay. If it stays, it's good art. And I would say to you, the real young swag, you have produced art and you should be proud. You have produced art. Well done. Because people have it, they're keeping it, it's staying with them. Yes. And that's the key. Once you do that, now it's good. Absolutely. So, yes. Legacy says, only the strongest of us men prove it by persevering and pursuing. Yes, that's true, but we don't do it alone. Accurate, but we don't do it alone. And this is part of what he's talking about when he says falling into the bullshit. There are so many people who want to bring us down that we've got to be able to stand past it and have someone else help keep us up, right? So we can get away from that. Because you're right, weaker men are trying to pull you down. So you got to be able to push that. Yes. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Yes. If I can grab a couple of these. The last one I'll bring up, which I think is the good one. I get you nailed it, bro. All right. I did a good job. Guys, do me a favor. Click that like button. I appreciate it completely if you would. Every time you click the like button, it helps with the algorithms. It does matter. You want to help out this young man? Well, then head on over to see him. Check him out on Instagram, The Real Young Swagg. Or also, I gave all of his data is in the YouTube page and on the Facebook page if you want to. If you watch this on Twitter, please retweet this right now. It really does matter. I do want to say, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was valuable for you. I will be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. I'm doing my radio show out of Rochester, New York at 1 p.m. if you can see me then. Otherwise, I will see you all very soon.